He's a star. He has become a star. There you go. Coming up this week on Money Makes It Weird, it is the new year. What do you need to do with your money? We're going to talk about all the deadlines. We're going to talk about what you need to know to make your money work for you in 2026. So get a piece of paper or open up a notes on your phone. Whatever it is, we're going to give you all the information that you need to know to make sure that your money is taken care of in 2026. That's up next. Happy New Year from Money Makes It Weird. My name is Matt Hayes, and this gentleman right next to me,
I'm Chris Fox. Happy New
Chris
Year.
Fox. Happy New Year, my friend. Chris Fox from Fox Financial and IPC. We're glad to have you here. Chris, I hope you had a great holiday season.
It was fantastic, as always. How was yours?
Absolutely. It was great. Since we are kind of maybe potentially recording this before the holiday season and we're pretending that, the holidays have already happened, I'm assuming that, everything was wonderful and great with the family. And I'm assuming everything was wonderful and great with your family.
It's going to be. I mean, it was. It will be.
It was. Yes, it was.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was absolutely
Hey, guess what, Matt? We found the Advent calendar.
Oh, so if you missed this, you have to go back and check out the holiday episode that we recorded back in December. We had the mystery of the missing Advent calendar that was in the middle of all the billions of dollars of stuff that Canadians buy that was missing inside of Chris Fox's house. Where was the missing Advent calendar?
Right where I left it, Matt, in a closet, buried deep. And I had looked there. I used my boy eyes. I didn't find it, but Kelly found it with her girl eyes. As
there you go.
Goes. Yeah.
As you were saying that, I remember National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, that fantastic movie.
Yes.
When Chevy Chase is in the attic and hiding all the presents. He goes up to hide the presents like in the back there, and he grabs like the Mother's Day gift from like 6 years ago. That's as you were talking, that's where I envisioned you hid the Advent calendar and you completely forgot. Like you went all the way up there and got stuck up there. So
Kelly's really good at finding things.
Is she?
She found my daughter's wallet. She lost it the other day. She found it in the snack bin. We have a bin of snacks. Like buried in, like what?
How that happens, I don't know. So it is 2026. It is a brand new year. Let's talk about what we need to do with money. Now that we are past the holidays, we have spent the money. It is a new year, new me, new money is kind of the vibe that I'm thinking about this. So, we always talk about New Year's resolutions and all of that. But, there's a couple different angles I want to talk about with this year. Well, I do want to talk about that side of it. But before we talk about, what we might think about, what we might want to do with our money, maybe going in a different direction this year, or what we want to think about doing, let's talk about what Canadians need to know about going into the new year here as it starts off. First off, I want to talk about what they need to plan for as the new year starts. Important dates coming up when it comes to deadlines, when it comes to contributions. So as you're starting to plan out for the year, I know a lot of, when you have the plan set, you already know this, but let's do a quick reminder. What are the important dates that Canadians need to know about when it comes to their money in 2026 as we start off the year?
Sure. First big one is RSP deadline. That's March 2nd this year for 60-day contributions. March 2nd is Monday. So the contribution can go for the current tax year or the previous tax year. A lot of people are catching up from the last year. But I do have a few clients that love to just, beginning of January, put in the maximum amount that they can for the RSP this year because they make a fair amount of money. And that year, that's just over $33,810. So that's what you can lump in 2026. Of course, TFSA room has gone up another $7,000, bringing the grand total to $109,000. If you were 18 in 2009. And then after that, we don't want to think about taxes yet. We'll worry about that down the road, right? The other thing is income and spending. I always like to talk about spending. You've probably spent a lot of money in December, as we were talking last time. Opening that first credit card bill, it might feel a little painful. Might want to think about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never fun. And then for those people that are earning healthy salaries, if you're earning, let's say, over 85,000 a year, somewhere along the year last year, you would have stopped paying into CPP because you would have met the maximum contribution. So that first paycheck in January, for those people, they'll be getting that retaken off again. So it'll be like, oh, it went down, and that's why. So it always shocks me.
So, along with that, let's talk about the questions we should be asking ourselves when it comes to money as we're going into the new year here. We'll talk about more about, if we want to make some bigger changes and all of that. Are there any little things, as we're starting to plan out the year, when we think about, we always talk about kind of like New Year's resolutions and,
Yeah.
as we're, planning just out, thinking about what 2026 is going to hold for us, with our year, what type of money
Mhm.
questions should we be asking ourselves, or maybe even asking our partner as well as we sit down and
Yeah.
try to figure out what we want to do this year?
Yeah. I mean, the resolution thing, I think, is kind of weird, but
Hmm.
not everyone's making a drastic change first thing in the year or needs to do that. But,
Yeah.
reviewing those last year's goals and setting new ones for 2026. I always like to talk about 1, 3 year and 5 year goals, right? Where do I want to see myself in 3 years, and what are the steps I need to take to get there?
Hmm.
Um, and no, so kind of looking backwards, going, well, did I, you know, save as much as I wanted to in a retirement plan? Did I save enough for a vacation? Did I pay off some debt? All those kinds of things. And, from those successes, kind of building upon that and going, well, I think I'm going to get a raise this year. So if I get X amount more, I'm going to save X amount more or Y amount more.
Hmm.
Those are always good things to think about. And from a fun perspective, like vacations, summer vacations, if you have family, I'm tied to the school calendar year. Thinking about booking something in the summer, it's kind of like January's the time, right? Because things things book up quickly. And those
Yeah.
camps, summer camps, budgeting for that, those can be expensive, depending on, how many kids and what your family does during the summertime. So, but yeah, looking back at those goals, setting new targets, and adjusting as we go.
Also, too, with it being so gosh darn cold out there, probably booking things for summertime probably is a good idea just to try to make yourself feel a little bit
Right?
warmer as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's nicer when it's
yeah.
plus 30. So,
Yeah, yeah, just kind of working towards that. Put your money towards the warmth. Put your money
right?
towards the warmth.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help a little bit, make you feel a little bit warmer that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
that
like
makes
in the
sense.
summertime, you're like, oh, where do we want to go for a winter vacation? It's plus 30. I can't think about the cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Part of
yeah.
it, the anticipation too of having that to look forward to is a good part of that joy of knowing that I'm going to be in Mexico in February, or I'm going to
Right,
be on the lake in July, or in the
right.
mountains, right? Just
Yep.
having that planned, I think,
Yeah.
is something to look forward to.
Also, too, it gives you kind of a probably a bit of a peace of mind too, knowing that the money is going to be taken care of and set
Mhm.
aside. You don't have to be anxious about it coming. It's a couple months away.
Yeah.
Not so sure about everything. It's like no, you have it set in the pot. It's set, ready to go. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. It's
So
nice having the money before you spend it.
yeah, that's probably a good thing to do.
Getting
So
back from vacation going, got this big bill, versus getting
yeah,
back and going, oh, I didn't spend so much. That's great. And I've got all the
yeah,
money saved to pay for
yeah. Knowing how much you can spend on room service before you go is probably a good idea. It's always a good idea.
room service. Yeah. That's fun
Mhm.
once in a while, right?
It is.
We usually
It
have
is,
a
but
family like, we've done too much stuff. We want to do nothing.
mm,
Let's order room service one night.
I have not done that in a long, long time, but usually when I get it, the food's always kinda disappointing, maybe
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's just not it takes a few minutes to,
yeah.
to get up there, so it's not as warm, and it's
100%.
like, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Or
nice."
it's kind
So,
of soggy and sweaty from the little metal hats that they wear,
yeah,
the
yeah,
plates
yeah,
wear.
yeah. Plus, also in today's day and age, I can order anything anywhere at any time, and it can be, delivered now.
Hmm.
With all these apps, so food delivery is it's such so standard in today's day and age. So room service doesn't necessarily
Right.
feel as fancy anymore because
That's
I
right.
can order from all the restaurants that are around me, and they're going to deliver to the hotel as it is anyway.
Very
So.
true. Very true.
Yeah. So usually during this time of year, you always hear about like, new year, new me, and all of this, the New
Hmm.
Year's resolutions things. And you kind of, talked about that for a second, how you don't believe in all that. But I always, along with that, I kind of had this thought about like new year, new money, and people kind of wanting to,
Are you
they
printing
want
money?
no, well,
No,
not no. For
okay.
legal reasons, no, absolutely not. Seriously, you're giving compliance a heart attack right now. No, for legal reasons, absolutely not. But people always kind of want to change their habits. People want
Hmm.
to kind of, improve their life and maybe do things a little bit differently. So I want to kind of talk about that when it comes to the money side about maybe, is this a good time of year then maybe to take a look at the big plan?
Yeah.
Is, after the holiday season when things quiet down and it's a new year, is this a good time to sit down and go, maybe it's time to take a look at, the whole picture. What are some of the bigger questions they should be asking and maybe,
Yeah.
what they should be thinking about if they wanted to sit down with their financial advisor and
Yeah.
take a look at the bigger picture when it comes to their finances?
Yeah. I don't think there's any wrong time to do that, Matt. Um, if January is what makes sense for you, that's great. For me, I always feel like September's the beginning of the year for me. I don't know why. It
Mm,
just feels that way. Kind of maybe it's this whole school thing,
school
right?
year.
And
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the bigger questions, I mean, not just the short term, but the long term, what do you want to do in retirement? What does retirement look like? And it's, if you're 25, it's so hard to kind of think about.
Yeah.
But you want to have some kind of target, right?
Yeah.
I want to, I want to have the same lifestyle I have today, um, you know, after everything's paid, right? That's a good target.
Yeah.
For people closer to retirement, trying to figure out hopefully they have an idea what they want to do. There's lots of people they have that retirement day, right? I'm retiring on this day in 2020, whatever, 7.
Yeah.
And that's all I just have to make it to that day. And then everything else will be fine. Well, life goes on after that day.
Hmm.
And, having a plan for what you're going to do, not just, sit around, watch TV, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. Are you going to volunteer? Are you can, all those big questions, kind of depends on where you are in that time frame. But taking the bigger view, reviewing what's working, what's not working, what the pain points are, is it a debt that's dragging on? Is it, trying to get that mortgage paid off? Is it saving up for a mortgage, right? The first
Hmm.
home savings plan in Canada is relatively new. It's another thing to add to the docket. It's done on the calendar year.
Hmm.
So 2026, you got another 8 grand you can pop in there
Yeah.
to a maximum of 40. Um, so there's all those, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, just so you know. Um,
I don't think anybody is I don't think anybody ever is. Let's be honest.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just, trying to figure it out as we go for sure. But
Yeah.
having those targets, having those goals, dreaming big, oh, I want to do this. And, if you shoot for the stars and you come down a little bit, that's not too bad. Right.
Yeah.
Versus plodding along, what, whatever that may be for you, right? Everyone's different for sure. Some people are like, I want to go on 4 vacations a year and spend 15 grand for whatever it may be, in
Yeah.
retirement. That sounds great. I have other clients that are like, I want to go hiking all summer in the Rockies and spend like $1,000 a month because they're in the bush. And they love it, right?
Hmm.
That's, so many different wild variations of what people want to do. I don't think it's that classic, I want to golf 5 days a week, stay out of my spouse's hair.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully you're doing stuff with your spouse or your partner, right?
Yeah.
And what does that look like? right? It's not an easy conversation to have, right? Necessarily. Chipping away at that year over year, I think is important.
I think you bring up a good point too about kind of like the pain points. You bring about the mortgage too, of maybe this is a good time of year then to think what are those kind of money pain points that you feel?
Mhm.
Is the mortgage kind of a is the mortgage kind of feeling like a money pain point a little bit? Is that maybe whether it's maybe a little bit too much, maybe the house is a little bit too much,
Mhm.
maybe that's kind of a problem,
Yeah.
on your balance sheet, and maybe your feeling is a little bit too much. Maybe are realizing you want to downsize, maybe just literally because of the size, or maybe because of the mortgage payment, and it
Mhm.
causing a problem. Maybe like we've talked about that gentleman with that damn truck from a couple weeks ago, and that mess, and that there's the financial side, but the drama and
Yeah.
the ex-wife bringing them down with that whole thing.
Yeah.
But where are the emotional pinpoints when it comes to the money as well? Maybe this
Mhm.
is a good time here to take a look at that and kind of how where that fits in with your financial
Yeah.
situation as well, and being very blunt and honest about it. And while it's a little, January is a good time to kind of have these type of conversations. Well,
Yeah.
it's a little bit quieter, and you can kind of sit down and go, all right, yes, we're off the highs of the holidays, and
Mhm.
it's a little bit slower, and we're all staying inside because it's a little bit colder. It's a little bit colder. It's very colder out, so let's, where are these kind of pain points when it comes to money, on whether it's
Mhm.
on the bigger plan, and or you just in life in general, or on the balance sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the renewal, right? Or even
Hmm.
spring, go with the seasons, whatever works for you, right? I think just
Yep.
having that habit of doing it every year,
Yep.
and whether that's a meeting with your financial advisor, to financial planner, CFP,
Yes.
trademark, or whatever the thingy is,
The
the
thingy,
circle thingy,
yeah, 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 yeah.
right? And maybe that's your part of your annual review of going, okay, this is where we were, this is where we are, this is where we want to be.
Hmm.
What's working, what's not? Do I need to adjust the portfolio?
Right.
Is my kid going to school next year? Am I retiring soon?
Right.
Changing jobs, want to buy a cabin, all those big questions, right? So I think
Yep.
your financial planner's a great person to talk to, right?
So pretty much call your your certified financial planner. Chris Fox is available as well. You can find Chris at where, Chris?
www.foxfinancial.ca.
So since it is the beginning of the year, Chris, what do you want to do yourself this year? What does
Oh,
that look like? What's on your agenda for
oh.
the year?
Well, this winter, I'm hoping to ski a few mountains I haven't skied before. That's the
Nice.
immediate thing. Yep. Southern BC, I have not explored, heard
Hmm.
lots about, and can't wait to do it.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. How about you, Matt?
I would say two things when it comes to similar to that. Number one, as you and I have talked about, I'm starting to become more outdoorsy.
Yeah.
I've been more city boy, so I kind of want to explore that a little bit more and kind of find kind of an outdoor hobby that I like. I don't know if
Hmm.
it's going to be biking, or it might
Mountain
be more
biking.
biking that way.
Biking's awesome.
Just because I used to love biking all the time. When I lived in Puerto Rico for a while, I thought I was going to get into some sort of the water sports, but I was there during COVID, and that kind of took a lot of time
Mm,
and messed all that whole thing up and all. So I
yeah.
kind of want to find something to get out. And then number two, like one of the reasons why I did buy a new car earlier this month, last month, because we're recording this,
Last year.
it's January. Yes, last year,
You bought it
because
in December.
yes, it is January. Anyway, Hollywood magic. One of the reasons why is I want to start doing a lot more smaller road trips,
Mm,
and exploring a little bit more. We do a lot of traveling, in bigger stretches. We're going to be going back to Europe here in
nice.
January, and we're going to be going to Southeast Asia later this year, and also, and I'll be in Canada, exploring Canada more a lot again this year for work trips and all. But one thing I like doing is kind of exploring a lot more smaller towns and doing quick little weekend trips, whether with
Mhm.
myself or with my better
Mhm.
half. So that's
Nice.
I kind of like, well, when it comes to travel, people always think the bigger cities and the bigger trips, but
Yeah.
I always find it fascinating to go to some smaller towns and other other
Yeah,
parts of the world that people don't think about because you learn a lot when you sit in a coffee shop in other parts of the world,
absolutely.
other parts of the country that people don't go to, and you have
Yeah,
conversations with people completely not like you.
yeah,
So
exactly. It's
that's kind
important.
of the direction for this year. So
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I should mention that we're planning on doing some small town Ontario driving around
I
in the
love that.
spring. Yeah, before the kids get out of school,
Yeah.
before it gets nuts, kind of go tour.
Yeah, and do that before cottage season when traffic is absolutely nuts and hot. You
Right,
don't want to be doing that in the
right.
summer during in Ontario. No
I love
way. No,
seeing
no,
there was
no.
a clip on opening weekend back in December, which was actually last weekend in Lake Louise, and the
Mhm.
row of cars going up to the mountain was just crazy,
I
much
can
like the
imagine.
ones you see at Tahoe, right? Like it's just like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely insane. All right. So we'll have more fun episodes coming up here as well. And make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube to keep up with everything. And if you want to learn more about Chris and his team, again, Chris, can they find you?
Foxfinancial.ca.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time. Cheers.
Thanks. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Trademarks owned by Investment Planning Council Incorporated and licensed to its subsidiary corporations. Investment Planning Council is a fully integrated wealth management company. Mutual funds available through IPC Investment Corporation and IPC Securities Corporation. Securities available through IPC Securities Corporation, a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Insurance products available through Chris Fox.